a medium-sized northern town called Rotherham. Population about probably 350,000 people. We have just uncovered in the last few months the grooming and sexual abuse of 1,400 girls. 1,400 girls in a town of that size have been serially sexually abused and raped, and over 95% of the perpetrators have come from one specific religious and ethnic group. And yet, because they were seen to be Pakistani Muslim men, clearly what has happened is the police and the local authorities thought it better to allow this kind of thing to continue rather than to confront it and to be thought to be racist. It really goes back, if you like, to what I was trying to say earlier. We have to start having more self-confidence in who we are, what our values are, and asserting them. Look, we've been very, very good over the last decade and more about worrying what's happening in the Middle East and North Africa and Afghanistan. And we've been very busy intervening in all these places, and we've been almost negligent in the growth of jihadism within our own communities. And when I said last year, to the usual howls of outrage, when I said last year that we now have a fifth column living inside our own countries, they carry our passports, they speak our language, and they hate us. They want to kill us. They want to overthrow our culture, our constitution, our whole way of life. My own view is we should worry a bit more about what's happening within our countries than what is happening across the rest of the world. And I think that is going to be the politics of the future. I think we've intervened too much militarily around the world without always thinking about what this may mean for the longer term. And we must focus on our own countries. And, part of that, it seems to me, needs to be, we have got to be more assertive in saying who we are as a nation, what our values are, what those that built your great country and built mine, what they represented. In the case of my country, we actually have a Christian constitution. We have a Church of England. It is the established state church. And yet our leaders in recent years, whether they're political or even some of our bishops, appear to be almost ashamed to stand up and defend our culture and who we are. So we need to be more muscular about this. And on these, just quickly, on the issue of foreign fighters, David Cameron's big push now is that when they find out that someone wants to leave the country and go and fight in Syria for ISIS or ISIL or whatever we call it, that we now stop them leaving the country. Well, I'd pay their ticket and then take away their passport and make sure they never ever come back. So I would have considered myself traditionally to be on the centre-right of British politics. What I've learnt through UKIP is there are some issues that are so fundamentally important that the old labels of left and right become completely irrelevant. And by talking about sensible immigration controls and the shape of our communities and the wage levels of those in skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled jobs, what we've done is to reach out across the political spectrum and, in fact, in many ways to bridge the class divide that exists in British politics. And I'm very proud of the fact that we've done that.